Ethical dilemmas have been an integral part of human existence since the dawn of civilization. These moral conundrums, where individuals or societies must choose between conflicting values or principles, have shaped our history and continue to challenge our ethical sensibilities in the modern world. Before we dive in, if you find this content valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. It truly helps us grow. Now, let's get started. In this comprehensive exploration, we will delve into the historical evolution of ethical dilemmas, exploring key moments and philosophical perspectives that have influenced our understanding of right and wrong. Ancient ethical dilemmas. The origins of ethical dilemmas can be traced back to ancient civilizations, where moral questions often revolved around the fundamental aspects of human existence. In Mesopotamia, one of the world's earliest civilizations, ethical concerns were intertwined with the development of laws and codes. The famous Code of Hammurabi, dating back to 1754 BCE, represents an early attempt to codify ethics into a legal framework. It posed dilemmas related to justice, punishment, and social order. Meanwhile, in ancient Greece, philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle pondered ethical questions that still resonate today. Socrates, known for his Socratic method of questioning, often raised moral dilemmas in his dialogues. One of his most famous statements, "An unexamined life is not worth living," encourages us to confront ethical choices with critical thinking. Aristotle, on the other hand, developed virtue ethics, emphasizing the importance of cultivating moral virtues such as courage, wisdom, and justice. His teachings introduced the concept of ethical dilemmas concerning personal character and moral virtues. Religious ethics and ethical dilemmas. Religious traditions have played a significant role in shaping ethical dilemmas throughout history. The moral teachings of religions like Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism have guided the actions of individuals and societies for centuries. In Christianity, the story of the Good Samaritan presents a classic ethical dilemma, whether to help a stranger in need, even when it involves personal risk or inconvenience. This parable, found in the Bible, challenges believers to consider their moral obligations to others. Similarly, in Islam, ethical dilemmas often revolve around concepts like justice, compassion, and the duty to Allah. The Islamic concept of jihad has sparked ethical debates, as it can be interpreted both as a personal spiritual struggle and as a call to engage in armed conflict. Enlightenment and the Age of Reason. The Enlightenment era, with its emphasis on reason and individualism, brought new dimensions to ethical dilemmas. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant and Jeremy Bentham laid the groundwork for modern ethical theories. Kant's deontological ethics proposed that actions should be guided by moral principles, regardless of the consequences. His famous categorical imperative challenged individuals to act according to principles that could be universally applied, introducing ethical dilemmas regarding the conflict between duty and personal desires. Jeremy Bentham, on the other hand, introduced utilitarianism, which evaluates actions based on their utility or the greatest happiness they produce. This consequentialist approach has led to ethical dilemmas related to the tension between individual rights and the greater good. Ethical dilemmas in modern history. The modern era witnessed a surge in ethical dilemmas due to advancements in technology, politics, and globalization. The Industrial Revolution, for instance, posed ethical questions about labor conditions, workers' rights, and the impact of mechanization on society. The 20th century brought unprecedented ethical challenges, including the horrors of World War II and the development and use of atomic weapons. The Nuremberg trials, where Nazi war criminals were prosecuted, raised ethical dilemmas regarding the responsibility of individuals for their actions during wartime. The civil rights movement in the United States also confronted profound ethical dilemmas related to racial equality, justice, and nonviolent protest. Figures like Martin Luther King Jr. grappled with the moral implications of pursuing civil rights in the face of discrimination and violence. Contemporary ethical dilemmas. In the 21st century, ethical dilemmas continue to evolve in response to technological advancements, environmental concerns, and ethical considerations in fields like artificial intelligence and biotechnology. The rise of social media and the internet has brought forth questions about privacy, free speech, and the responsibility of online platforms to moderate content. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, for instance, highlighted ethical dilemmas regarding data privacy and manipulation. Additionally, debates surrounding climate change and environmental ethics force us to confront ethical dilemmas about our responsibility to future generations and the planet's sustainability. In the realm of biotechnology, issues like genetic engineering, cloning, and bioethics have spurred ethical debates. Questions about the potential consequences and ethical boundaries of these technologies persist. Medical ethics and human rights. Medical ethics is an ever-evolving field that grapples with complex ethical dilemmas. One notable example is the ethical dilemma surrounding organ transplantation. On one hand, the scarcity of organs raises questions about who should receive transplants and under what criteria. On the other hand, there are ethical concerns about the sale of organs and the potential for exploitation of vulnerable individuals. Another crucial aspect of medical ethics involves end-of-life decisions. The concept of euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide presents a significant ethical dilemma. Should individuals have the autonomy to choose when and how they end their lives, or does society have an obligation to protect life at all costs? Human rights also give rise to ethical dilemmas on a global scale. Issues like genocide, refugee crises, and humanitarian interventions challenge us to consider the balance between national sovereignty and the responsibility to protect vulnerable populations. Technological advancements and AI ethics. The rapid advancement of technology, particularly in artificial intelligence, AI, has introduced a new frontier of ethical dilemmas. As AI systems become more autonomous and capable of decision-making, questions about accountability, bias, and transparency arise. Ethical dilemmas in AI include the use of facial recognition technology, which can infringe on privacy and civil liberties. Additionally, algorithms used in hiring, lending, and law enforcement have been criticized for perpetuating bias and discrimination, raising ethical concerns about fairness and justice. AI in healthcare also presents ethical challenges, such as the use of algorithms to predict patient outcomes. These algorithms may inadvertently perpetuate health disparities if not properly designed and validated. Environmental ethics and climate change. The ethical dilemmas surrounding environmental issues, particularly climate change, are of paramount importance in the modern era. Climate change poses a global threat, and addressing it requires ethical considerations related to intergenerational equity, environmental stewardship, and global cooperation. Ethical questions arise about who bears the responsibility for mitigating climate change and its consequences. Developed nations, historically responsible for the majority of greenhouse gas emissions, face ethical dilemmas regarding their duty to reduce emissions and assist vulnerable nations in adapting to climate impacts. Furthermore, environmental ethics raise questions about our relationship with the natural world. Should we consider the intrinsic value of ecosystems and species, or should our ethical frameworks prioritize human interests? Navigating ethical dilemmas in a complex world. The history of ethical dilemmas is a testament to the ever-evolving nature of human morality and the complex challenges we face as a society. From ancient civilizations to the modern era, ethical dilemmas have shaped our values, laws, and ethical frameworks. They continue to push us to examine our beliefs, confront difficult choices, and strive for a more just and compassionate world. As we move forward, it is essential to learn from our ethical history and engage in thoughtful dialogue to address the ethical dilemmas of today and tomorrow. In navigating these complex ethical landscapes, individuals, societies, and governments must consider the following principles. 1. Critical thinking. Encourage and cultivate critical thinking skills to assess ethical dilemmas objectively. This involves evaluating the consequences, principles, and values at stake in any given situation. 2. Universal values. Seek common ground in universal values that transcend cultural, religious, or political boundaries. Concepts like empathy, justice, and respect for human dignity can guide ethical decision-making on a global scale. 3. Balancing act. Recognize that ethical dilemmas often involve a delicate balance between conflicting principles. Ethical decisions may require compromise, where the goal is to minimize harm while upholding ethical ideals. 4. Ethical education. Invest in ethical education and awareness, from schools to workplaces. A well-informed society is better equipped to address ethical dilemmas proactively and ethically. 5. Legal frameworks. Develop and enforce legal frameworks that reflect societal values and address complex ethical issues. Laws should evolve to keep pace with changing technology and ethical concerns. 6. Ethical leadership. Encourage ethical leadership at all levels of society. Leaders should set an example by making decisions that prioritize the greater good and ethical principles. 7. Interdisciplinary collaboration. Ethical dilemmas often intersect with various fields, such as philosophy, law, science, and technology. Encourage interdisciplinary collaboration to approach these challenges comprehensively. 8. Public discourse. Promote open and inclusive public discourse on ethical dilemmas. Encourage diverse perspectives and respectful debate to arrive at informed decisions. In conclusion, the history of ethical dilemmas is a rich tapestry of human moral development, constantly evolving alongside our society's progress and technological advancements. These dilemmas test our values, principles, and humanity itself. While the specific dilemmas may change over time, the enduring need for ethical reflection and thoughtful decision-making remains constant. As we navigate the complex ethical terrain of the 21st century, we must draw upon the wisdom of the past while embracing the responsibility to address new and emerging ethical challenges. By doing so, we can hope to build a future that reflects the best of our moral aspirations and advances the well-being of all individuals and our planet. In this ongoing journey, ethical dilemmas will continue to serve as signposts, guiding us toward a more ethical and just world.